My wife was recovering from surgery. We asked our neighbor to keep their music down. They turned it up louder. The next day, we found nails under all 4 tires of our car. I called the police. They said it would be hard to prove. But I found something in their trash that changed that overnight. We live in a small town in Indiana, Elkhart. Nothing big, just a quiet neighborhood where people mow their lawns on Sundays and wave even if they don't know your name. My wife Jen and I have been in the same house for 8 years. It's small, one level, with an old oak tree in the front yard that drops leaves like it's trying to bury us every fall. Jen had gallbladder surgery last month. Nothing major, the doctor said. Still, I saw the way she winced every time she stood up or sat down. The kind of pain that doesn't go away with a single pill or a nap. We'd just gotten her home from the hospital that weekend. She was pale, exhausted, and her whole body was stiff like she didn't trust it anymore. That Sunday afternoon, I was in the kitchen making her some toast when it started, this deep, rumbling bass from next door. Our neighbor, Travis, mid-30s, single, always in his garage messing with old cars or blasting music like he's trying to score a party that never shows up. I'd let it slide before, but not that day. I went outside. Walked over to his driveway. His garage door was open, and he was leaning under the hood of a rust-red Mustang, music pouring out from a giant Bluetooth speaker on a folding table. I knocked on the frame. He looked up, wiped his hands on a towel. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Jen just got out of surgery yesterday. She's trying to rest. Could you turn the music down a little?" He didn't say anything, just stared at me for a second, like I'd asked to borrow his kidney. Then he turned around and walked over to the speaker. I thought he was going to turn it off. He turned it up, walked right back to the car, like I wasn't even there. I stood there a moment, then walked back home. My hands were shaking, not from fear, just plain rage. I didn't tell Jen. I didn't want her to stress. But that night, she barely slept. Every time she dozed off, the music would surge again. It finally stopped around midnight. She was crying, whispering she just wanted to sleep. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I went out to warm up the car. We had to take her back to the doctor for follow-up. That's when I saw it. One nail, then another. All 4 tires, each one had a big, ugly roofing nail tucked behind it. It was deliberate. No doubt about it. I didn't touch them, just stared. I called the police. They came out, looked around, nodded a lot, wrote things down. One of the officers, this kid who looked about 12, said, "Could be from the road. You know how construction debris ends up places." I said, "For nails. One behind each tire. That's not random." "We don't have proof," he said. "Unless you saw who did it or have a camera, yeah." I didn't have a camera. And no, I didn't see him do it. But I knew. Jen's the only person I've ever loved enough to fight someone over. And now she was in pain and scared, and he was laughing next door with his music blasting again by 2 p.m. That night, I waited until dark. Around 10:30, I went outside to take the trash to the curb. Travis had already wheeled his cans out. I walked past his driveway and looked at them. I knew it was stupid. I knew if he caught me, there'd be trouble. But I didn't care. I waited until midnight, pulled on gloves, and went back. I opened the lid slowly. The top bag was full of food wrappers and car parts. I opened the second one. Near the bottom, I saw an Amazon box, flattened but not broken down. I pulled it out. That's when I saw it. A ripped shipping label with his name on it. Under that, a plastic bag inside, an empty container of roofing nails. Exact same kind as the ones I found behind my tires. My hands were sweating. I took pictures with my phone. Front, back, close-up of the label. I even took the box. Didn't care if that was technically stealing, it felt like self-defense. The next day, I went to the police station. Same officer as before. I laid the box and photos on the desk. "You still think this was random?" He blinked, leaned in. "Where'd you get this?" "In his trash. His name's on the box. He bought the nails." The officer looked at the pictures again, and let out a breath. This changes things. The cops said they'd look into it, but I wasn't going to sit around and wait. That same day, while Jen was asleep, I started looking into Travis's life. I knew he worked from home. Some kind of online job, always had packages coming. But I wanted more. I posted a question on the local Facebook group, asked if anyone had issues with loud music or dangerous behavior near our street. I didn't name names, just wanted to see what would shake loose. Within an hour, I had 3 private messages. One woman, Kelly, said she lived 2 blocks away. She told me, "That guy with the red Mustang? Yeah, he used to live across from my sister. He keyed her husband's car after they asked him to move his truck from blocking their driveway." Another message came from a guy named Dave. He said Travis once screamed at his kids for walking too close to his garage while riding bikes. "He's not just rude. He's got a temper. Be careful," he wrote. That's when I realized this wasn't about one loud song. Travis was a bully. He just didn't think anyone would stand up to him. So I did something petty, but smart. I printed out copies of the photo of the Amazon box, the one with the nail container, and his name clearly visible. I put them in plain envelopes and slid them into a few nearby mailboxes. I included a little note. "This is what happened when we asked our neighbor to turn his music down after surgery. Watch your tires." That weekend, Travis's music stopped. Not a sound. But I wasn't done. The police came back 2 days later. The same officer, plus a detective this time. They asked me to walk them through everything again. I showed them the nails, the photos, the box. I gave them the messages I got, too. I didn't know if those counted for much, but I wanted them to see this guy had a pattern. A week went by. Jen was finally starting to heal. Her color was coming back. She was sleeping more. But I still watched the driveway every night, waiting for something else to happen. And then it did. Late one evening, I saw a police cruiser roll up to Travis's house. 2 officers got out and knocked on his door. He opened it, said something I couldn't hear, and they stepped inside. 15 minutes later, they walked him out in handcuffs. I watched from behind the curtain, heart pounding. It felt surreal, like I'd imagined it. But there he was, handcuffed, head down, no music, no smug smile. The cops didn't say anything to me that night. They just put him in the back of the car and drove off. I didn't sleep. I waited for someone to call or knock. Nothing. Next morning, I got a call from Officer Tyler, the younger cop who'd first taken my report. "We can't give too many details," he said. "But we executed a search warrant after the trash evidence and your report. Found more nails. A lot more. Some still in the box, some loose in his garage. We're connecting it to 3 other complaints now." My stomach dropped. "Other people too?" "Yeah," he said quietly. "Seems like he's done this before. Tires, broken windows. Even left a dead squirrel on someone's porch after a noise complaint last year."
Jesus.
"But here's the thing," he continued. "He's out on bail already. His brother posted it. Just wanted to give you a heads up." My throat went dry. "So he's back."
Yeah.
"But we're keeping a close eye on him. And now we've got real charges pending. Criminal mischief, harassment, maybe more." That night, I didn't tell Jen. She was finally laughing again, talking about going back to work soon. I didn't want her scared. But the next morning, I found something new. A note. Folded, taped to our mailbox. No envelope. For words, all caps, scratched in pen. "You started this shit." No name. But I knew. I took it straight to the police. They logged it, said they'd keep watching the house. But there was only so much they could do. Until trial, Travis was technically free. The next day, our front camera caught him. Just standing on the sidewalk. Not doing anything, just staring at our house for nearly 10 minutes. No expression. No movement. Just watching. And then he smiled. Not wide. Just a little, like he knew something I didn't. I showed the footage to the cops. Again, they wrote it down. Again, they said, "It's creepy, but not illegal." That's when I stopped sleeping. I stayed up most nights, sitting by the front window with a cup of coffee and a baseball bat next to my chair. Jen didn't know. I told her I was just having trouble sleeping. She didn't need to know that I was waiting for our neighbor to snap. But then something shifted. It was a Tuesday night when I heard it banging. Not on our door. Not on Travis's. It was coming from down the street. Police lights filled the block within minutes. Turns out, Travis had tried to kick in the door of another neighbor, a guy who had testified against him for the tire slashing. The neighbor's teenage daughter caught it on her phone, screaming wild threats. Cops arrested him on the spot. No bail this time.
This should have been the end.
It wasn't. The day after the arrest, someone threw a rock through our living room window. Jen screamed. I ran outside. Nothing but silence and darkness. The cops said they'd check for fingerprints. Could be someone connected to him, they said. A friend. Family. That's when I remembered something. Travis had a cousin who came by sometimes, a guy named Reese. I'd seen him help work on the Mustang. Tattoos up his arms, always in a sleeveless shirt, always looking around like he was casing the block. I never thought much of it until now. I went back through our old footage. Spotted him. 2 nights before the rock incident, he'd walked past our house twice. Not just passing through, he stopped, stood there, looked straight at our porch camera, smiled, kept walking. I printed that frame and took it to the station. Do something with this, I told them. Or I will. Officer Tyler took it more seriously this time. They questioned Reese the next day. No arrest. But they said he got quiet real fast when they brought up the footage. 3 days later, our mailbox was stuffed full of raw meat. Packages of ground beef, chicken, even a fish. It reeked. No note this time. Just rot. Jen cried when she saw it. She thought this was all over. She didn't know I'd started to expect it. I cleaned it up, threw everything out, then ordered a second security system. Motion lights. More cameras. Inside and out. That night, I sat in the dark, watching the front yard, wondering just how far this would go. About a week later, it got quiet.
Too quiet.
No music. No notes. No busted windows. No drive-bys. Nothing. Even Jen noticed. Think it's over? She asked one morning while pouring coffee. I wanted to say yes. I wanted it to be true. But something in my gut told me it wasn't. That this was just the part of the storm where everything goes still before it all gets worse. I was right. It happened on a Thursday. Jen was back at work. I was home, waiting on a guy from the insurance company to come by and inspect the broken window. I heard a knock, figured it was him. Opened the door, without even checking the camera. But it wasn't the insurance guy. It was Reese. He was smiling. Not the cocky kind, more like the kind people wear when they've decided on something ugly and permanent. You think this is done? He said, voice low. It ain't. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stared at him. He leaned in slightly. Travis, don't forget who sticks knives in his back. Then he turned and walked off. I didn't chase him. I didn't yell. I just stood there, watching him go, heart slamming in my chest. That night, I filed for a restraining order against Reese. Police came out, took another report, promised patrols would increase, that they were building a case. But something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to wait anymore. I dug into public records. Found every ticket, complaint, small claim, and petty charge Travis had racked up in the last 10 years. DUI in 2018. Domestic disturbance call in 2019. No charges filed, but it was on the books. A lien on his property from unpaid taxes. The works. I made copies.
Dozens of them.
Put together a packet, complete with the tire photos, the trash evidence, screenshots from the neighborhood group, and the Amazon box images. I didn't just give it to the cops. I gave it to everyone. The HOA. The city code office. The small claims court clerk. I filed noise complaints, property complaints, even got the county to come out and inspect the rusted-out cars in his yard for violations. The final nail? I found out Travis never got a business license for all the car work he was doing. Reported that, too. Within 2 weeks, his life started to crumble. Code violations.
Finis.
A city official came to photograph his garage. The cars. The trash. The oil stains. His business was officially shut down. And once that happened, his income, whatever was left of it, disappeared. Jen and I watched from the window as he packed up the Mustang onto a flatbed one afternoon. He wasn't wearing his usual grin. He looked tired,
Angry.
cornered. But still, I didn't feel safe. Not yet. That weekend, we heard through the neighborhood grapevine that Travis was moving out. Someone said he told his cousin, elk heart's full of rats. Another neighbor claimed they saw him tearing down the insulation in his garage like he was looking for hidden microphones.
Good.
Let him feel paranoid. But 3 nights before he was supposed to leave, it happened. We woke up to the smell of smoke.
It wasn't thick.
Not yet. But it was real. Jen and I jumped out of bed. I ran downstairs, heart pounding. The kitchen was fine. The living room, too. Then I saw it, orange flicker, at the base of our back fence. I ran outside with a fire extinguisher, barefoot, and put it out. It hadn't spread far. Someone had set a pile of dry leaves and garbage right up against the wood and lit it. If we'd slept another 30 minutes, the whole fence might have caught. The cops came fast this time.
Took it seriously.
They searched his yard, but Travis wasn't home. He'd been staying somewhere else, apparently. No one knew where. But that was it. That was the last line. The next morning, I went to the courthouse myself and filed for an emergency protection order against both Travis and Reese. I had everything. Photos,
Video.
reports, witnesses. The judge signed it on the spot. They were served that same day. And then, just like that, it really was quiet.
No retaliation.
No music. No notes.
No rocks.
Reese disappeared. Travis stopped coming around. By the end of the month, his house was empty. A real estate agent put up a "for sale" sign 2 days later. I stood on the sidewalk and stared at it. I wanted to feel relieved. But instead, I felt hollow. Because now that it was over, I realized something I hadn't admitted to myself all along. This wasn't just about nails or music or one bad neighbor. This was about control. And when someone tries to take it from you, your peace, your sleep, your sense of safety, you'll do anything to get it back. Sometimes I still get up in the middle of the night just to check the locks, even though he's gone. And the worst part is, I don't think I'm ever going to stop.